So are you guys disappointed that I used Blue Eyes to climb the King of Games this month? Don't worry, so am I. Hey guys, Sonic Smashboy here, and if I'm gonna be honest with y'all, Synchron and just Synchro stuff as a whole, whether it's archive skills or character specifics, is just struggling heavily right now. Like, it is brutal for Synchro decks to get by, or any sort of Synchro strategy to get by, in a format like this where basically anything they would want to do gets completely shut down. Especially considering a lot of it is due to just the fact that skill design in Duel Links has kind of lost its way. A lot of the new skills that have dropped recently, starting with Borreload Link, have been punishing the opponent for even playing the game at all. Proof of concept, let's look at the skill list. Sacred Beast Beckoning, effect number 3. If your opponent has a card on the field or in their graveyard at all, so you can punish them for using a hand trap, shuffle one monster from hand to deck and get a Sacred Beast out for free. Literally for free. Let's see here. The Star Seraph skill, Barion's White Shield. Effect number 3. If there's a card on the opponent's field, send one monster from field to grave, put a Star Seraph back on the field, and add rank up Magic Barion's Force. So essentially, they can use Mind Control to take your monster, or Crackdown, either one works, send that to grave for the skill cost, and generate advantage off of your resources because you decided to play the game. Dark Magic Combo, effect number 4 here. If your opponent controls a card at all, add Armored Exceeds from outside your deck to your hand, then you get a free Black Ray Lancer on the field. So essentially, you get a free Utopic Ray Lancer because your opponent decided to play the game. Green doesn't punish hand traps, and surprisingly, neither does Barion's White Shield, but still. Of course, I have to talk about the originator of all of this. Borreload Break. If a monster is on your opponent's field or in their graveyard, so again, punishing them for hand trapping, play one Link 2 Boral monster from your extra deck to your field. Again, that is a free quad Boral / a free discard one to pop that they can't do anything to stop. Of course, they can negate the destruction, sure, with like Stardust Dragon, Crystal Wing, Forbidden Chalice, Droplet, stuff like that. But that's burning a resource. Which, granted, they might be forcing you to burn, but that's beside the point. Again, this is all for free because your opponent decided to play the game. This kind of skill design is causing a lot of decks to fall out of favor. Just in general. Like, to give you an example of, like, old school skill design, we have, well, Bond Illuminates is kind of like a semi-modern skill design, but it's not quite, like, modern design. All 3 different effects basically work with the Synchron strategy in order to be able to get out shooting Quasar Dragon like Yusei did in the anime. Sure, I don't agree with the lack of deck restrictions in some cases, but at the very least, it works for the strategy. The thing is, it does not punish the opponent for playing the game. And that's not the only one, folks. Let's look at some other decks that get hit by this. Rose Dragon kind of sucks anyway, but Spell of Roses, I love this skill, but you can tell it's a very old skill by design. It's a once per duel with a very simple effect, put it to you that way. Then you look at stuff like Limiter Removal Regulator Open, which is as close as we're getting right now to a good Synchro-centric deck skill. Technically, we have Darkshiner Goodwin's brand new skill, but we'll get to that in a moment. Yeah, multiple different effects you can use, all of which are really good, but none of them punish the opponent for playing the game. Speaking of Darkshiner Rex Goodwin, Swallowed by the Neverworld, new skill, brand new skill in fact, and it's just really good. This is the kind of modern skill design that we need to be aiming for. It really helps the strategy it's meant to help specifically, and on top of all of this, it actually makes it so that even though the skill's really good and really important for the deck, the cards still need to play their part. It's not just, oh, I click skill button, I get stuff out for free. Yes, the Thunder Dragons are in there for a reason, by the way. Maybe I'll eventually get around to building this completely, but you'll see. We'll see, like, at some point. Revolution on this floors. This was actually a prototype I was working on at some point. Basically, if you go second, you get a free Necro Floor. So if you open Dark Hole or Assuage the Floor, you get to break something off their board or their entire board, or force a Destruction Prevention card or something like that. And you benefit off of that. That's disgusting. Because you went second. Period. Actually, there's another example I forgot to mention. So, back into the skill list, because I don't think this character's been rerun yet. And yeah, I missed them the first time. Where is... It's probably all the way near the bottom, but... little further. Should be right around here. There we are, Sprouting of the Sacred Seed. If a monster is on your opponent's field, shuffle a plant monster from hand, face up field, graveyard, or among your banished cards into the deck, and get a Sunseed Genius Loci out of the deck for free. So again, punishing your opponent for playing the game at all. Don't we love skill design like this? And that's the kind of thing that, to me, has been a bit of an issue with the format. The only one to come close to doing this and actually feel somewhat fair, because the skill itself is fair because of how the deck works, is Dark Fluid Link. Playmaker's latest skill. Just to give you an example of what I mean. Let's go over to this. I'm more of a Cyber Synchro guy, but that's just me. Basically, with your first skill, if you're going second, you get Signet Rollback. So you can get out one of your banished monsters among these 5 because you went second. It's a way to combat, going opponents that went first and got a massive board out. But it's not super overbearing. This is fine. Like, it's not super overbearing just because, it doesn't let you have cards that essentially just break the board for free, like Assuage the Floor, and stuff like that. You essentially just get a monster to help you combat the situation. That's the kind of going second skill design we've needed to keep. Something kind of similar to Dark Signer Rex in that regard, except not really. This does it better, I think. But most skills go way too far with that these days. And with that said, the fact that skills are playing the game more than the actual cards are now, Duel Links has kind of forgotten what it was trying to be. A way to be as anime as possible in a speed duel format akin to Yu-Gi-Oh! Reigns with the other Yu-Gi-Oh! Seasons. But with that said, if this is the direction we have to go in, what does Synchron need? Well, while I'm all over that, I've got a couple of replays to let be in the background. I want to say this is the one. Let me hit the delete button. No. That's the one. There we go. So anyway, while I'm letting this replay do its thing, I guess, what does Synchron actually need in order to be able to keep up with the modern times? Well, there are quite a few cards we still don't have yet. Shooting Majestic Star Dragon comes to mind, and thus Converging Will Dragon, the Arrival Light package, Stardust Illumination, all that stuff.
Yugi, please duel me.
I don't think those would necessarily work in a 3-zone game.
Time. My turn. I activate my spell card, Toonie. Each card has power waiting to be unleashed.
Because you basically need to be occupying as many zones as possible to get the most out of the Arrival Light package, to get the most out of Converging Will's Dragon, Shooting Majestic Star Dragon, all that stuff. So the question becomes, what do we actually... Well, I think there's only one card that we necessarily need in some way. And I mean like need at this point. And that is Junk Speeder. But because of how modern skill design works, we are probably not going to get Junk Speeder in an actual buff. It is going to be through the skill. Because yes, I suspect he will also need a brand new skill, as a bond eliminates the future isn't cutting it anymore. Good as it can be, unless you open a specific combo, it's just not enough.
Level 5, Catapult Warrior.
And so, with that said, I personally have come up with an idea for a skill like this for Junk Speeder. Kind of similar to a mix of Limiter Removal Regulator Open in adding Synchro Monsters to the extra deck, while also having similar effects to Shooting Star Road Tech Genus expansion, similar, more of an upgrade, but similar, / Vanilla Shooting Star Road, and of course the obligatory Punish effect, because, you know, every modern skill these days needs to have something like this. But the main actual card I think we need, hear me out on this, Assault Synchron. It might not seem like much, but it could actually really help. Say, for example, you tribute for Stardust Warrior effect, right? Or is it that it has to be a Dragon Synchro monster? I forget. Either way, Assault Synchron banish, target that monster, bring it back to the field for free in the middle of the turn, so you get to use the effect again. So, say with Shooting Majestic Star Dragon in the TCG / Master Duel, what you would do is you would tribute / tribute to banish, and they get a card activation, banish that card. It's not a destruction effect, so whatever. But, because it was tributed still, Assault Synchron in the graveyard, banish itself, bring Shooting Majestic back, and that triggers a Riven Light, which gets you an extra draw in the middle of their turn.
I'm counting on you. I special summon a monster.
So, yeah. I firmly believe at this point, Synchron needs Junk Speeder. Granted, the other Synchro decks, like, again, Red Dragon Resonator, Rose Dragon, stuff like that, they need new stuff too, don't get me wrong. And they deserve to get new stuff. Blackwing? Crazy as this sounds, it may well be time for them to get full Armor Master. I'm not sure if it's a great idea, but it would probably end up being a bundle card anyway. But at the very least, like, a lot of these older decks need to start getting new skills. Look at Chronomaly, for example. That was a good new skill. Shark's new skill, as dumb as its punish effect is, I still think it's a really fine skill. It does what it needs to do for the deck it wants to be used for.
Here's my tuner monster jet. The hopes of the world coalesce into a single star. Let's rev it up. Synchro Summon.
That said, I think Junk Speeder makes the most sense. So here's what I'm thinking. At the start of the duel, if your extra deck contains no monsters other than Synchro monsters, including at least Stardust Dragon, Shooting Star Dragon, and Shooting Quasar Dragon, add 2 Junk Speeders, 1 Formula Synchron, 1 Tech Genus Recipro Dragonfly, and Crimson Dragon to your extra deck. During this duel, you are locked to Special Summoning, excluding Special Summons from the extra deck, Junk, Synchron, and Warrior monsters. So like Doppel Warrior, Speed Warrior, Max Warrior, Level Warrior, stuff like that. Then, on the turn you summon Stardust Dragon. Play Formula Synchron from your extra deck, then you can also play either Tech Genus Recipro Dragonfly or Crimson Dragon from your extra deck. Wait, that's the second effect. Each effect will be once per duel, by the way. First effect, actually. Send 1 monster from hand, 1 from deck to grave, add a Synchron from deck to hand, then play either Synchro Chase or Synchro World from outside of your deck to your field. And if you chose Synchro World, it gains signal counters equal to the level of the monster you added to your hand. So say Junk Synchron would be 3 counters, Synchron Carrier would be 2 counters, Jet Synchron would be 1 counter, Hyper Synchron would be 4 counters, Wheel Synchron would be 5, stuff like that.
I flip over my face down card. I activate a quick play spell.
And third effect, if your opponent has a card on the field or in the grave, return 1 card from hand to deck, and just play Stardust, Formula, and Recipro Dragonfly from your extra deck. And for good measure, if you wanted to be funny, a Synchro Summon using all 3 of these monsters as material cannot be negated. So essentially, you just get Quasar out because your opponent decided to play the game. As stupid as that sounds in hindsight, and I agree it sounds really stupid, it's also just kind of what Synchron needs at this point. As much as I hate to say that. Especially so we don't have to do stuff like this. Frickin' mind control. Literally the only reason I won that.
Attack Shooting Quasar Dragon! The burst of creation!
This is far from over.
So yeah, basically, as dumb as that sounds, I know it sounds ridiculously busted, but all things considered, a lot of Synchro strategies are in that position where they can't rely on the graveyard any longer because Skullmeister's everywhere. They can't rely on, you know, combos all the time because hand traps are everywhere, especially Nibiru. Like, Nibiru's a pain in the ass. It always has been, always will be. It was always a mistake. Shouldn't have been made. But just in general, this is the kind of situation we're in now, to where we need stupid skills like this if this is where the game is going. I personally would prefer the game gets dialed back heavily. We've needed that since Tier 0 Tachyon era. Because like the November format, like the year at the end of the year before Tachyon came in, that was the best format we've ever had. At least in a long time. It was a varied format. It was a great format. 10E, BLS, and Crusadia notwithstanding.
It's go time. My turn. I activate my spell.
But then BLS would go on to get hit. 10E would go on to get a slap on the wrist. That's beside the point. But nonetheless, the format was looking great. And then this all started happening.
Here's my face down card.
But you get the idea. At this point, we need stupid skills like this if this is the direction the game is going in. I firmly believe a Junk Speeder skill is going to happen, and it's either going to be as broken as I mentioned, or it's going to be absolute trash. Considering how much Konami seems to hate when Synchro stuff is actually decent. Like, I want to keep playing Synchron going forward. Like, that's my passion. That's my specialty. Synchro stuff in general is what I do. You guys know me for this stuff. And even if you didn't know me for this stuff, I'd still be playing it anyway. We're just in this, I'm gonna be blunt, damned if you do, damned if you don't position. To where we need things that are that stupid. To be able to keep up with stuff like, again, the Star Seraph skill being broken as all hell. And these other skill effects that just punish the opponent for playing the game. Yes, I get me be doing the same thing at that point. That makes me sound like a hypocrite.
Synchro Summon.
But if this is the way modern skill design is going, as much as I personally hate it, we may as well start making use of it, right?
Take flight, Stardust Dragon.
I do not agree with that skill design whatsoever, personally. That's just me. But what can you do?
I activate a continuous spell. Level 5, Catapult Warrior. I know what to do. I synchro.
So assuming the skill for Junk Speeder, if we get a skill for Junk Speeder, as we probably will, works the way I mentioned, the extra deck would probably be something like Quasar, Shooting Star, Stardust, of course, Crystal Wing, Stardust Warrior, Stardust Charge Warrior, Jet Warrior, and then a random level 8 for a toolbox. Either something like Void Ogre, Cyber Slash Harpy Lady, a second Stardust if you wanted to go that route in case you need, well, just the skill in general. Or it would probably add a second formula from outside the deck to the extra deck or something like that, so we can actually make use of every effect anyway.
I activate my quick play spell.
Either way, you get the idea. Point is, we're just in that game state. We need stupid skills like this, as much as I hate to say that.
I end my turn. My turn. I draw. I'll set a card. I set a card. I'll tear you to shreds.
Fun Black Ray Lancer.
Black Ray Lancer. I knew you'd try that.
Yeah, get that out of here.
Over my face down card. It's go time. My turn. I draw. Take flight, Stardust Dragon. I activate my spell card, Tuning. The tuner monster Junk Synchron. Junk Synchron's effect. But now, check out my set card. I activate my quick play spell.
But with that said, I think I've said everything I really can say in regards to the state of Duel Links and the state of Synchro decks.
I flip over my set card.
Personally, again, I would rather the game just get severely dialed back, like skills getting shot for having these effects, and these punish effects, and a lot more stuff going on the limit list. Now, mind you, there are a couple of cards I don't agree with being on the list at this point. Like, what is Purple Pinch Over doing? What is Cyberload Fusion coming off the list going to do for Cyber Dragon? Not much, really.
Sword to power, Black Wing Dragon. But now, I flip over my
Either way,
I
yeah.
activate my trap. Up here, Black Rose Dragon.
I don't know. I'm personally, like,
Each card
not
has power
a
waiting
fan
to
of this
be
game
unleashed.
state, but if this is what we have to get in order for Synchron to actually be decent again,
Light Stream Dragon.
because, you know, it was never actually outright amazing. It was only during the early days of Bond Illuminates when, you know, we had access to all that stuff. We had the Crocker Dragon Artemis combo with mind control and all that stuff, which we now finally have access to again, mind you. But this was back in the day when it's like we didn't have nearly what we do now.
Up here, Stardust
At that point, it
Warrior.
wasn't Synchron, it was just Cyber Dragon OTK.deck.
Activate a continuous spell. Up here, Black Rose Dragon.
Now, I for one still believe that Bond Illuminates should have been hit a while ago, but as things stand,
My tuner monster,
it's an
Jet
outdated skill.
Synchron. The hopes of the world coalesce into
And as is
a
now,
single
Synchron
star. Let's
needs
rev
Junk
it
Speeder.
up.
I can't think of any other card that would work. Cosmic Blazar would have the same problem as usual. Cosmic Blazar, same deal. Shooting Majestic would just be a pain to get out in the first place because of how it works. And that would also mean you'd need Converting Little Dragon, Allied Light, Stardust Illumination, all that stuff.
I'm not scared to
And of course, Stardust Synchron, Stardust Trail, Stardust Swarm, those cards. But
Cosmic Flare.
as things are now,
I attack you directly. This isn't good.
the only card I can think of that we'd really need,
I end my
like,
turn.
in terms of a skill, is Junk Speeder. We also still need Assault Synchron, granted, but
My turn. I draw. monster and summon a fish with the same level. Come here. Right hand shark.
I think just as a whole,
Come on out. I build the overlay network. I exceed
this is just the
summon.
kind of stuff we need to be able to combat a lot of the current game state. It's unfortunate, and believe me, I hate it as much as you do, but what can we do?
Check out Stardust Warriors effect. I special summon right hand shark from my graveyard. Come here. Right hand shark. I set a card. Check out Stardust Warriors effect. Appear! Stardust Warrior! Still
But with that, that's kind of all I can really say about all this. So, that's pretty much it for this video.
It's my turn.
With this final turn,
I set a card. I'm not scared to attack.
there's nothing else I can really say.
I go. My
I've said all I need
monster
to.
attacks.
Hopefully Synchron gets the glow up it needs. Hopefully Synchro stuff in general gets the treatment it rightfully deserves. Because I want to keep playing my Synchro strategies. This is what I do. This is what I love doing. Unfortunately, we're just stuck in a losing situation right now. Hopefully things change in the future. But with that, that's all I have to
Growing up
say.
on the streets
So until
taught
the
me
next video,
everything has value.
whatever it might be,
So
just in
every
general.
card and move led me to this victory.
Later, guys.